Hey, so I'm just going to do this video as a quick warm-up to my webinar tonight, and then maybe those of you who miss it will get to watch it if the webinar doesn't go to plan. So I'm doing this webinar on stop comparing and finding the real authentic you in your business. Yeah, it's a pretty common thing, not just in business though, in life, where we hold ourselves back and we kind of repeat these old stories of sabotage and things to stop us from really fully moving in toward it's not our potential, I don't even like that word really, it's just more of us. We're moving into more of who we really are and stripping back all the old stories and creating some new good shit. That's what it's about. So, and the quickest way to stop that is comparing. It's the quickest way to do it, because then automatically as soon as we compare, we're completely forgetting that we're here as a unique individual on this planet, and that it's irrelevant to compare. There is no comparison actually. So yeah, it's quite ironic that it stops us from moving forward, but actually there's no such thing as comparing, because how can you compare two completely unique individuals with different feelings, emotions and messages for the world? There's no such thing as comparison. I'm just going to write that down because I just had a quote come up. So there's that point, and you know, and also just the reflection that comes from comparison. When we find ourselves in a comparative mindset, we are saying that, you know, that person, maybe we're putting them in a different level of being to us, or, you know, as soon as we make that judgment, even if it's not a critical comparison, but it's just a comparison, it can still be felt in your body like you're saying you're not like that, and you just keep affirming stuff to yourself. It's not serving you. So just be really mindful when you are comparing, and see if you can make it come from a place of grace, you know, like you're comparing, instead of you're comparing yourself to them, you're admiring the beauty that you see in them. That's a beautiful thing to do, to switch. It's not to shame yourself and guilt yourself into, oh, I'm judging and criticizing, or I'm doing this again, you know, horrible me. You just go, hang on, how can I appreciate the beauty in what I'm seeing here? How can I shift this into more, you know? So that's how you can make the comparison really effective, where you can turn comparison and channel it into effectiveness. How can I appreciate the beauty here? Okay, so that's a good question to ask yourself. And what am I seeing in this person? When you can answer that question, what beauty am I seeing here? You then can have that inward reflection of where do you like that? You know, so you can compare and go, oh, but she's just really confident and everything she says just flows out her mouth with ease and grace, and she doesn't fumble her words or whatnot. And I really admire that in her. Yeah, so hear the shift? It's gone from, oh, but she, but, you know, to, oh, I really admire that in her. And you lifted her up, or him. You've lifted yourself up. You're admiring it, and you're recognizing at times maybe when you speak really confidently, you know, or that you're good at other things that person doesn't do well. You know, it's endless where it can go. But at least if you're shifting the perspective and starting that new way, it can change things for you. So also the thing with comparison is that it completely robs you and strips you of your joy, you know? So you can't be enjoying what you're doing while you're comparing yourself to someone else. So all you're doing is really robbing yourself of the enjoyment, the potential enjoyment in that moment to be having. So if you don't like a way that someone else is doing what they're doing, or you feel inadequate compared to the way that they're doing what they're doing, you're going to be using your energy on that and not creating your version, your way that's special to you and unique to you. And even if you think that your version looks similar to someone else's and you're running that story, it's not. It's simply not the same. It could look similar to you or feel similar to you because kind of like when you're driving a Volvo and you see Volvos everywhere, it's going to feel like it's going to appear to be the same to people, but it's not because you're delivering it, not them. So it completely is different. And so if you can have that joyful space and that, wow, this is my version of that thing, then you can play with it. You can be more in your enjoyment with it. You can do things every day that makes you feel like really tuned into your fun, creative energy. People get inspired by that stuff. You're not going to inspire people to, come along to workshops or, share oils, build their business if that's what they're choosing to do. Even just use their oils because they're worthy of that. You can't inspire people to do all these things if your energy is saying I'm not good enough or I'm comparing myself to someone else. You inspire people to do that because you're switched on. Like you're in your power, you're in your fun and your play and your joy. So the longer you spend your energy in that comparison space, the less energy you have for that creativity. So you can ask yourself questions like, okay, so I don't like how they're doing it, or okay, this is this, whatever. So what's my version look like then? So you can close your eyes and vision yourself, like, what does it look like for you? How are you going to run it? How are you going to do it? And, it's free. There's no limits. You're working with a company and with a set of founders that respect the individual and are trying to get their message of empowerment out to the world. There's no rules with how you can share these things into people's worlds or share yourself with the world. I mean, you're coming from a good place and you're in your heart and you know what you're delivering and you're the right people for the people you're delivering it to, because otherwise they wouldn't have come to you, they would have gone to someone else. Then you have this freedom to express yourself authentically however you like. So you can be dreaming that up. You can be closing your eyes and, getting a visual of what that looks like. What does it sound like? Which platform are you going to use? Are you going to speak on webinars like this? Are you going to do it in small groups? Are you going to, how does it look for you? Rather than not doing anything at all, just how's it going to look for you, So that's important too. So, but to get to that place, I guess we have to, hang on. I guess we have to be willing to accept our imperfections then, don't we? Because, we're going to be putting ourselves into this work, into our work in whatever way we choose, what we feel like we want to do, then we need to, I guess, know our strengths, know what we're really good at, know where, maybe that isn't our strengths right now, but not to own that story either and go, oh, I'm shit at that, and keep running this story. You can develop it, you can grow it. There's no point saying that sort of thing to yourself and leaving yourself nowhere to go. Sure, it might be true and it might stay there forever, but if you don't give it anywhere to breathe or to go, then it won't go anywhere. So just stay open and be careful of how you're speaking to yourself and how you're limiting yourself and blocking yourself. And be gentle with yourself when you look and search for these little imperfections, and have a laugh and a bit of sense of humour with them. So, if you're coming up against the same thing in your business all the time, and it's just showing itself to you all the time, then it's probably a really good reflection of a personal belief that you can move through now, because life's showing you're ready to move through it. If you weren't ready to move through it, it wouldn't be coming up all the time. So you're ready. You're completely ready. And all of these things are a beautiful gift and they can move you toward that. So, it might be that you're feeling unsupported. So you're not getting any support, no one's stepping up, no one's doing this, blah, 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 and you just keep running this story of how you're unsupported. and that's your story. That's the thing that you want to keep running, and then it keeps showing up and it keeps showing up, and then you can notice that maybe one of your imperfections is that you have this belief that you're unsupported, and you kind of allow it to keep coming into your world, and then you can be super creative and get to know that persona. So you can start playing with it a little bit and be like, okay, well, I have this part of me that feels unsupported, and close your eyes and imagine what that unsupported version of you is wearing and what she looks like, or how's it feeling, and just tuning into this version of you, this aspect of you. And sometimes I like to invite them in, get them a bit closer, bring them right in, let them come in and just sort of sit next to you or sit on your lap and say hello to them and meet them as if they're real, because it's like they're showing up in your life in ways that are very real, but we don't meet them as if they're real. So that's important, I think, to give them that space to breathe. And then you get to have, this is a bit out there, but you can chat to them and talk to them and ask them questions like, I guess one thing you could say is, what do you need? What do you need from me? What do you need from me right now? How can we address this? How are you feeling? Like, what's going on, and when did you first come? When did you first arrive? Just inquisitive, but playful, to the point that maybe then, because you've created a relationship with that aspect of yourself, maybe then when it pops up, you can say, oh, hello, little unsupported Hayley. Nice to meet you. You're welcome in. Come over here, So you can start just not getting wallowed into the story and attached to this version of you and start playing out this character again. And you can just observe it and know that it's there and it's present and it's needing a little bit of support. So you can start supporting yourself. You can start expressing to your people or your family or friends how they can best support you right now, and be clear with them and not just sit there whinging because they're not, So, how can you be empowered in that and not victimized in that, So that's cool. That's a nice, playful way to start exploring with that, with this, I guess, this imperfections and how you can create a relationship with them and give them that personality. Some mornings when I notice I'm being a control freak or I'm cranky and I'm trying to just, get control of a house or something, I have to do that. I have to bring in this comedy, almost. This is how I work. I have to bring comedy into my day to make it, lighten it up, I can be pretty dark character. Like, I'm bright, but I'm also a dark. I love my darkness. I love my recluse, my obsession with the dark side and the void and things. That's beautiful. I love that thing. I can get really deep, really quick, and often be in my mind a lot, and then I have to bring myself back into my body. And the best way for me to bring myself back into my body is comedy and drama and things like that. So, often I'll be like, morning, control freak, morning, and like, just to say, yep, I know you're here. Well done. You're welcome. And the thing is, like, a good friend of mine, or who's becoming a good friend of mine, Bonnie, says, she's written this quote before, and I went, yes, that's just exactly how I feel, is that if it's real, it's welcome. So if this controlling aspect of you is real, it's a real deal, and it exists, then it's welcome. It's, if it's real, it's welcome. It's when you're running a story that isn't actually your story, it's not real, then you don't need that. You can move that. But if this stuff is real, it's welcome. Bring it in. Let it come in. Let it get close to you. So you can start playing with it and being creative with it and transform it into your power and how you can actually move through the world in more effective ways. Boundaries, personal boundaries. How available are you to your people? How enabling are you to them? Are you always available, even when you're not able to be or got the energy for it? Or how much energy are you putting out that's that's not, I mean, it's not wrong to do any of this stuff. It's obviously part of the business, but it needs to be balanced with as much of that self-awareness and the self-care. Mozzie. So, you know, it's not wrong to say that. It's our role, but how balanced is it? So, and how much are we honouring when we're saying yes, like when we can commit to something and we can do something, and how much are we just pleasing people and running around and doing what's expected of us, but we're not in it, and our heart and our love and blood isn't in it. And how can we maybe concentrate more on how to get our heart in it more, and how we can bring ourselves to it rather than have it doing it to us. So that's important, the boundaries, and knowing what turns us on with the business and what doesn't turn us on in the business, and doing more of what's pleasurable, and not doing the things that aren't pleasurable at all, because there's life to experience and we have to be in service as well, and not completely in our own world and never doing anything else apart from what we want to do, but balancing it with a lot of the awareness of what does switch us on in the business and doing more of that. So for me, what switches me on is more speaking. I like speaking. I can talk for a long time. So just feeling this feeling that I'm feeling right now, for example, where I don't even feel like I'm the one talking. I'm just kind of letting my mouth open, having my heart open. I can feel the humility in my body. I can feel the compassion for everybody in their own journey, their own unique little way that they're doing things. And I can feel the space where there's no rules, that it's just complete creativity, and I just open and words come out. And that's one of my most favourite things to do. And if I do more of this in my business, I'm gonna be enjoying it. I'm gonna be loving it. And you know, what I'm gonna be doing is liberating other people to do the same thing, to find what turns them on and do that. What doesn't turn me on is talking about numbers and things. I mean, I can do that. I don't not enjoy it, but it's not one of the things that I enjoy the most. So, yeah, getting to know that really honestly about what turns you on and what your strengths are is a good thing. So, yeah, that's me, I think. I feel like wrapping it up. So, maybe another thing you could do real quickly, it's just come to me, is who are you? So who are you when you're not pleasing someone, or who are you when you're not being who you were asked to be or expected to be, or, you know, who are you when you were little, before you were told that what you were wasn't right, or that it was too much or too full on or too expressive or too negative or too much for the world. You know, what were you doing and who were you then? Because if you can get some kind of a feeling into that, that will help you to bring that now into the now. And also bucket lists, start ticking that stuff off. Like, it's one thing that I found, you know, when I started to do more things that I wanted to do, there was a story running in my head that said, oh, you're not doing the business anymore, you've let go of your doTERRA business, and you're not going to go anywhere, it's going to fall apart and all of this stuff. And just because I'm now doing more things that I want to do. And I realised that when I was down maybe in these ranks of Premier and Silver, where I was really building my business, like I was putting in time and effort and things, and I was doing things that maybe 100% that I wasn't enjoying, as far as not enjoying them, but not doing a lot of the stuff I'm doing now and just enjoying life. That's necessary. There is at times where you have to commit and you have to put effort in, and you've got to step outside your comfort zone and do things that you've maybe said that you'd never do. But the reasons I wasn't doing them, and maybe what took me so long to start, was because I thought they had to look a certain way. I thought I had to conform to a version of it that's not true. That wasn't true. And now it's funny, even just being in this end of it, where I'm looking back at that time and I am in the diamond, I guess, the rank of diamond, or been at diamond for a long time. It doesn't say that it's now different or less involved. It just changes its form a little bit. But I could have been doing this stuff and enjoying that process back at Premier and Silver if I wanted to. But I was too busy running that story of what it's going to have to look like and how I've got to conform and all this resistance, that I blocked my own self of actually just having this reality back then. So you don't, it's not to retrospect that you go, nothing changed. I'm still me. I'm still, you're not actually, the things you're afraid of often, it's just false. It's not real. It's that false evidence appearing real thing. So don't let it stop you. Don't let it, disconnect you from your dream and what you were trying to create for yourself. Nothing's worth that. Nothing. So, yeah. Okay. Love to you all. Best wishes with your journey, and I hope that this has encouraged you to really feel into what does yours look like, and maybe just do something little every day toward that. So, yeah, thanks for joining. Okay, see you.